Come on, and a happy Saturday to everybody. I hope you're having a very wonderful Saturday. The sun is shining brightly in Ghana. Accra as always. I know we'll be much happier if it was raining, but not everybody wants rain, so let's rejoice anyway. We have in the studio here yet another amazing entrepreneur that is going to share his journey and then the journey of some of the entrepreneurs that he's had the privilege to walk the sustainability journey with. I have in the studio here with me, I'm talking about the entrepreneurial journey, the growth of African entrepreneurs, growth catalyst from Growth Africa, Jesse Gad Baddoo. I told you I was going to try. Jesse is a growth catalyst at Growth Africa, where he supports entrepreneurs in building scalable, impact-driven businesses across Africa. He has a strong passion for sustainable development and innovation. Jesse works closely with founders to refine strategy, to strengthen their leadership capacity, and to position their ventures for long-term growth. Driven by a belief that African entrepreneurs are key to economic transformation, he's deeply invested in nurturing resilient, solution-oriented founders who are building businesses that solve real problems while creating jobs and impact. I know it's like he's there like, hey, how did these girls get invited? I do my job, Jesse. Welcome to the studio. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you very much, Zipporah. Thank you for having me here today.
It is such a pleasure. And like I always tell my MoneyHub community, there is so much that happens behind an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. You know, the person that we're seeing with the impressive LinkedIn profile, he didn't just pop out of nowhere, you know, and a lot of young people see, you know, the great successes of people and they don't know how to get there. I think that's what creates that frustration and almost feeling of jealousy sometimes, is that they don't understand how the person got there. Mm-hmm. And they can't tell your story. They don't know your story. So today, and in this series that we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, we are delving into the entrepreneur's journey. So I hope you don't mind. Yeah. This is a bit of surgery, okay? I want to go back to the beginning with you, okay? Did you always know that you'd be working with entrepreneurs, and how did it start?
I don't think I always knew I would, but one thing for certain is I knew I liked supporting people and helping people be the best of themselves and then to achieve what they needed to. So I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to do that, but then I just knew I loved supporting people. Like, I find myself being happiest when I get the opportunity to support people and then be part of great causes. Yes, so I would say that will probably be the earliest sign that I would probably be doing something around this.
So you grew up, you know that you're a person who loves helping people. How did this evolve into even the kind of studies that you wanted to do, and how did you end up in this area?
Like I was mentioning earlier, I remember way back even in primary school, those days when we would be given an assignment to do research. And then I had a friend, a very close friend of mine. We would go to the internet cafe back then, go do our research very fast. And then when we come back, others who had other groups who hadn't done theirs would now say, okay, you know what, pay us this bit, we'll do the research for you, and then we offer it to you, right? So it was sort of a mini consulting service, and this was because I had the privilege of being exposed early to using a computer and then being able to do this research. So we would always go to like the cafe doing research on topics we've been given, and then come and then do it for other groups and share it across to them. So I'll say that will probably be the earliest bit. This was like in junior high school and then through high school. But I would say the real thing came in the university, and it wasn't necessarily tied to what I studied. I studied philosophy classics and then psychology, which is which is always a surprise because people always think you should have done some business course or finance. Yes, I didn't do any of that, and I mean I was intentional about choosing that because I think those are those are subject areas that help you to broaden your scope, right? And it helps you to think beyond just theories and other things, because it's a foundation to grow. And that's something which I realized very early on. I think in high school there was a book which was given, I've forgotten the title, but it was basically helping you to decide on what to do when you go to the university. And one of the key messages I got from that was that your first degree is basically supposed to be a stepping stone to broaden your scope and understanding. It's not where you are necessarily going to master in something. I mean, maybe that's medicine crazy. And the rest, people have passion and they decide on doing that. But if not, and you want to venture into other spaces, I thought of it as it should be something which should allow me to be able to explore after once I fully know myself. So I decided to do that. And I think the thing which really made the difference in the Sparkx was I joined an organization in school. I don't know if you know, it's called AIESEC.
AIESEC, no, I don't.
Yes, or AIESEC, AIESEC. So a lot of people who know me from way back actually associate me with that organization here, because I was in that for like 5-6 years. And basically it's a leadership development organization which we support young people to harness their leadership talent. And it's a global organization, you know, over 120 countries. Wow. Yes, and it's fully run by youth, people below the age of 30 years, either students or recent graduates.
That's amazing.
So imagine the opportunity that you're getting to do this whilst in school, right? And I think that really is what sparked the entrepreneurial journey, because when I joined, I remember when I joined, I went for a few conferences. So back then you'd have to run away from school, sometimes leave your studies a bit to go for the conference. Friends didn't understand what I was doing. They're like, see, are you taking your book serious? What's all this about? Whoa. It's some fancy thing. What are you talking about? But then I saw something in it, right? I saw that it was being part of something bigger than yourself. So we'll do that. Fast forward, I became president on University of Ghana campus. And this meant, it wasn't run like a club, right? Because you are actually taking people out of school to go on exchange programs outside, right? And I remember during my tenure, we started taking people to Russia, to Poland. So imagine taking a student from school vacation and they are going to volunteer in Russia, right? In Poland, Mauritius, and the rest. And it's crazy. So you walk up to your fellow student and are telling him, what about you do 6 weeks internship in Poland? What do you think about it? And they are looking at you like, are you serious? You take me? I'm like, yeah. Be a part of this organization you do, and then people will pay you go. So you are managing a direct team of like 6. You have membership of over 60 people who you need to manage as a student, right? You are making accounts of the revenue which the organization is making on campus. I remember when it was handed over to me, and then we had intern houses, because we would also receive intern from other countries, just as we were also taking people out, right? So one of the first things was we needed to find a new intern house. And that was the first time. I think we had about $7,000 in the bank or something. And I needed, so we cashed it out and then tried to get a place to go and rent. I remember I called my wife, like, hey, how do I manage this? I need to make sure that we don't lose the money, because it's organization money. We need to make sure we have some reserves there. So, I mean, just like true nature of the organization, we say we learn by putting you in challenging experiences, right? So that was really some of the spaces that really groomed me. So I'll say a lot of the things which I do now and the things which I know now came from that experience. Because imagine from being from campus, managing all these experiences of people. And the first time when I joined, we had some students who had gone to Russia. And then we are there, and then they call us, they send videos. They're like, they've been kicked out of their hostel accommodation in Russia because there's a document which they were supposed to, the host entity there was supposed to provide for them, wasn't provided. So basically every intern, not just from Ghana, from other countries who were supposed to be hosted, all the hostels were refusing to host them, and they were out in the streets, and they were sending videos, and then you have someone calling and threatening you, I'm going to make sure I take you to the dean of students when I come back. You guys have right, why would this happen?
Oh my goodness.
And that was like a whole thing, right? So I think that was my first crisis management lesson, right?
No, this is okay. For those who are joining us for the first time, you right here on the Money Hub with Zipporah Dankwa, and we have a wonderful guest, Jesse, telling us the craziest stories of how his entrepreneur journey began. First of all, you are still in the university, so you haven't even graduated yet. You are still in the university. You are, helping other people to also get these real life experiences, and you're also handling like crisis, whether it's with money, whether it's like these kinds of, honestly, it's like an international incident at this point. And what kind of mindset do you think you had to have for you to even overcome a situation like that?
I mean, being young at that time, and I'm still young. Right?
Being young is the superpower.
But being much younger at that time, I think we had this notion of it's going to work out, right? And if you met any AIESEC at the time, you even meet AIESECs now. We had this, we are changing the world, and it was deep down in our brain. We are like, no matter what it is, it's going to work out. And once you had that in mind, it's like there's nothing that could go wrong, So, I mean, this happened, we went through it. I was like, we reached out, obviously, to the people over there. They were like, oh, they are away from the city, but they are going to sort it out. So it gets sorted out. Ghanaians, as usual, once it's sorted out, no one comes back to say thank you. But then we are like, okay, what about we turn this story around and make it valuable for us? So what do we do? When the people came back and school reopened, we met with a few of them. I had some interns who had also come from Liberia and Cote d'Ivoire with me. So I went with them. I went with a couple of them to go meet this one who had gone to Russia, the Ghanaian. And I was like, okay, so let's have this conversation. How did it go? By the way, there's also an intern who is also in Ghana doing the same experience he had, right? So then they could bond and see that these are all challenges and things that happen. And then these same people who were complaining, now they were the ones encouraging people to go on the same experience. I think, so those are the things. I mean, after that, I'm like, nothing else can make me.
Nobody can touch me now. It's me and God. We good. We got it. That is so crazy. I love how you said, you said something, which was that the AIESEC, right? I'm saying it right. The AIESEC has had a mindset that like everything's gonna work out, even when there are challenges right in front of you. You just like, okay, it's gonna work out. It kind of gives me that like scripture feeling that all things work out for good for them that love and trust God. Like you just like, it will work out. We'll figure it out. And so you do, and then you get to the other side. And I love how you ended up turning even the could have been negative situations into a positive mentoring moment where they're able to even teach others where there were pitfalls and how to avoid it and encourage them in it. All I'm thinking this whole time is, who was supporting you in your crazy schemes at this point? Were your parents aware this was all happening? Or you were off in university figuring all this out and they will just hear stories? Like, tell me, who were some of your mentors? Did your parents even know what was happening?
My parents were very supportive. They knew some. They knew some, obviously. Not everything. Otherwise,
they'll hear the rest on the internet.
Yes, but I think I've been very lucky to have very supportive parents who they allowed me to explore. So even in deciding what to study, once you can explain yourself and convince them why you want to do this, they would allow you to do it and then just support you to do it, right? As long as you are not getting yourself in trouble. So I think that was good. But then the good thing is there's always, we have a very rich alumni network who were always supportive. I had some higher ups who would also support you throughout. So I'll say the alumni community were also very, very supportive. Like anytime you'd be in trouble, I could always call someone and ask them, hey, there's the issue. Do you have someone? And then there are board of directors as well. I mean, on the national level. So I did go to become a national president, right? Right from there. So on the national level, where the stakes are also higher, you still have like board of directors who help you to shape the journey and the things you're doing. Because obviously, as a 21, 22-year-old handling these things, it was like crazy. But
Man, so one of the things that we speak about all the time on Money Hub is the importance of mentorship and how the people that you are looking up to and giving your ear to should be able to shape you on your journey. And I'm just going to venture a little bit to what you're doing now with Growth Africa as a growth catalyst, which I found a very interesting phrase. How did you, first of all, get into that?
Yeah.
How did you get into Growth Africa? And then how has it linked to what you're doing in terms of helping people to figure out how to kind of structure their businesses? Yeah. Because it sounds like now I'm like catching the thread, you know. Please go ahead.
So when I left AIESEC, I did AIESEC after school. I did 2 more years. I left, worked with a consulting firm, got the opportunity to work with like a consulting firm, really awesome, really run by a really, really awesome man, Mr. Robert Benin. Yes, shaped
Shout
me.
out.
Yes, one of the best mentors I ever had.
Oh,
then I met, there was an AIESEC alumni called Leah, who then connected me to Growth Africa. And by the way, Growth Africa founders are also former AIESECers, right?
No way.
But not from Ghana. Like I thought it's global, right? So
that.
Patricia, Johnny, Ian, and then I remember I had the first meeting. Then I applied. Then months later we had some interviews, all of that. Met Patricia. It was really awesome. So then it ties back. You see how just by being part of that, it ties back into this, and then by building some of those values. So there are certain values which, if you say you are part of something, they know that you must have harnessed it, right?
Exactly.
So it makes it a bit easier for you. And then I got into Growth Africa. So before that, in the management consulting, we were working with bigger financial institutions around. I mean, I got the opportunity, lucky from, like I mentioned, my boss is someone who would allow me to really do things. So I got opportunity to see how some of these very big companies work, right? And then when I got into Growth Africa, now they were working with really awesome entrepreneurs. And I think the philosophy of Growth Africa is also something which would quickly connect with you, because before you get there, there's a notion that, we need to either go there, give entrepreneurs this and everything. And then Growth Africa is telling you that no, one of the key things that entrepreneurs need is capacity building and changing their mindsets. So not just giving them like hard skills like talking, lecture, but then how do you train them in a way that changes how they think and how they operate, right? And that's one of the things that when I went to Growth Africa really stuck with me. I remember when I joined, there was a first workshop, and then I saw how our co-founder, one of our co-founders and chair, Johnny, was talking about the business, and then you see how Patricia also explains the things to them. I'm like, okay, I'm in the right space, right? So once I got there, I was like, okay, finally, a lot of these things are making sense, because I've been working with people, supporting businesses, all of that. But now I was seeing another way of really supporting entrepreneurs and guiding them in a very systematic and sustainable way to do this. So I think that's one of the...
I really love that you're talking about mindsets, because first of all, your degree in psychology is being put to use. Who said it was going to be useless? So first of all, your degree into looking into people's minds and how it works, and then the life experience, right, with the AIESEC as well, as you guys are, in just like, we've got to change the world, right? But then how are we going to change it? We have to walk with people instead of like just thinking that you have to tell people what to do, right? And I think that's one of the things about business development, especially capacity building, that I really, really enjoy personally. And then when I got to hear about Orange Corners for the first time, this was one of my relatives, my sister-in-law has been part of Orange Corners before. So when I eventually heard about it later, I'm like, oh, so that's what Orange Corners is about, you know? And right now, and I'm only saying this because our MoneyHubbers also are filled with entrepreneurs. They're filled with young people who have their own startups. They have their own businesses. Some have SME. Some are just business people. But what exactly happens in Orange Corners that would make it different than just being told what to do? Like you said, it's a mindset thing, right? But how do you... So as a growth catalyst who's part of some of these initiatives, what does a day-to-day look like, especially when you're supporting some of these entrepreneurs?
Okay. I think, so usually I get people asking, why do you call yourself a catalyst and don't maybe consultants? And we are very particular about that, because we say that we are not here to tell you what to do. We are here to guide you on your journey. So we always start with saying, think of us as your gym coach, right? You go in there, we won't lift the weights for you. We are going to help you to lift this weight and teach you how to hold it or lift it so that you can get the maximum effects out of it, right? And that's exactly what the role entails, basically. So, and the same principle which we apply in Growth Africa in our programs is what we are using in the Orange Corners program.
Okay.
And when people come, we are like, listen, the other day we were having a discussion. I was saying that the program which we run, the workshops we do, they are not lectures, right? What we are doing is we are giving you tools which help you to be able to sit back and then really shape your business and plan it. So when you come, when people come in, they are expecting maybe you are coming to hear some theories. No, there's a lot of writing. Anyone who has done the program with Growth Africa, Orange Corners, one thing they will always say is, these guys are always giving us exercises. We call them maps or our frameworks, right?
Good.
Every day you're having to write, think about your business. And you'll be surprised, an entrepreneur who is probably run the business for like 5 years, they're having to rethink about the business all over again. They come and they're like, you know what? My value proposition suddenly has changed for me.
Whoa.
I never thought of it this way. And those are the things which we try to push for. And the most important thing is that with the tools which we give you during the capacity building, it's not just a one-time thing. We tell them every year you can literally take all the sheets out and do the same thing with your team. Yes. And we've had entrepreneurs who, after they've done it, they've put the frameworks we gave them online. They've had sessions with their team on it. And even 5 years later, we've had people coming back and saying, you know what, this training we went through, do you think you can run something similar with my team? Do you think we can have some of these conversations again? Because that's literally how we do it. And it's not even so much about like, how do you go and get money or making you ready? No. The real value is in the fact that recognizing where the business itself can generate value and how it can also capture different forms of value. And I think one thing about the program, you're asking about the Orange Coin that makes it some people join specifically for the money.
Yes.
And
because there is money.
There is money.
There is funding opportunity.
Yes. Okay. And we can always tell, right? Even though they deny it. But then it gets to the point where now we are like, okay, apply for it. And they're like, you know what? Based on everything we went through, I don't think I need this amount of money now. I actually want to go back and work on my business and come back. And I'm like, that's one of the most fulfilling things, because that's what the entire thing is about. It's not just about throwing in funding at people. It's about how do you think of your business to want to grow it in a way which is sustainable, even beyond us, beyond everything we've said. So that for us, I mean, like for any coach at all, for a catalyst, your value comes in when you see your business grow beyond, and you can sit back and say, well, I worked with this entrepreneur one time. Yes.
Oh, man. Talking about entrepreneurs that you've worked with, is there any one story that I know? I'm sure there's so many, okay? I know there are many. I know, okay? It's a problem. Don't ask me what my favorite food is. This is the issue.
Yes.
But is there any story of any of these entrepreneurs that when you look back on it, you're like, man, this person really ran with everything that we did, and look at where this person is right now? Could you give an example?
Yes, I mean there's a brand I'm allowed to mention here, right?
Please go ahead.
Sparkx Food, we worked with them earlier, I think 2022 or so, and now when I go to Melcom shelves and then I see their products, so even at Silverbird, their products are there. They make these coconut shavings and chips and well packaged. Anytime I see them, I'm like, okay, it's a real honor to see that they've come this far. But I think there are also a number of entrepreneurs that we've worked with who their mindset and resilience have also been really, really strong. There's a business, Pure and Just, Emmanuel and Yvette, they run it. And I mean, even when they came in, from how they would take care of data, right? And how they would track every single thing within the business. I think it's so awesome. Down to, so they make dried fruits, and then they ship it outside and around. It's called Pure and Just, Ivaya Farms. And they are able to monitor and track down to what's the temperature that there should be for the fruits to come out well. What's the grams that it needs to be to fill one? How many fruits do they need to do this, right? And that's the kind of data which we try to push for people, because we say that once you're able to lock in your data, you're able to grow it. And I remember the first time when we were working with them, they used to be around Bawe in a house, and now you see them with a whole factory around in Samab, right? So that's something which is also very, very fulfilling. There are quite a number and serious number of businesses that we've worked with, and anytime I see their progress, you see them in the on TV, you see them on Instagram, and like, okay,
they're doing it. This warms my heart so much. And I know that the Orange Corners, the new cohort has, like, the applications for the new cohort is open, and this is like the 13th cohort?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. This is so exciting. So the applications for the 13th Open Orange Corners Ghana cohort is open.
Yeah.
And I know that the deadline is the 27th of March. So this is for every young entrepreneur with an innovative business that is already gaining traction. So you have to have some kind of track record from what you're already doing. This is an opportunity for you to access funding and to be able to scale with structure through the Orange Corners Ghana Business Acceleration Program. Women entrepreneurs are strongly encouraged to apply. Please, everyone, apply. But there will be an information session.
Yeah.
And when will this be?
This is on 4th March. 4th March at 11 a.m. It's virtual.
Okay.
So everyone can join. I'll share the link so it can also
Fantastic. So you'll find our link in our stories and even under the conversation that we're having today at I am Zipporah Dankwa. You'll find it on our Instagram. You'll also find it at MoneyHub_official. You'll find it in the link in the stories for the applications for the information session, and you'll have the application to apply for the cohort itself. The deadline for the applications is the 27th of March 2026. So please, if you have a business that needs some expertise, that needs an expert touch, and a change of mindset and a clear understanding of where you're trying to go. You know, that is who we're looking for. That is, you're the one we're talking to right now. So don't hesitate. Reach out as well to Jesse. Jesse, where can they find you and also follow the Orange Corners conversation?
Yeah, so on LinkedIn, Jesse Gad Baddoo. They can also follow Orange Corners Ghana or Orange Corners itself, and then Growth Africa. So when you just put in Growth Africa, they should be able to find it. So it's Growth and Africa together. So you can find it. You get every information that you need over there.
Jesse, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing a little bit of. I know I haven't even scratched the surface of your story, and I will come back for part 2. And for everyone that joined here on Money Hub, I am your host Zipporah Dankwa, and I had in the studio with me Jesse Gad Baddoo. If you would like to follow him and the Orange Corners and Growth Africa conversation, please follow him on LinkedIn. Jesse, which is a JESSE, Gad, which is G for Ghana, A-D, and Baddoo, like bad, and then it's a double D-O-O. Baddoo. I love that so much. So that is his name on LinkedIn, and you can also follow Growth Africa. So that's just Growth and Africa together. You'll find them on Instagram, you'll find them on LinkedIn, and you can follow Orange Corners Ghana. And if you want to be part of the Orange Corners cohort 13 because you have an innovative business idea that you're already running and you think this just needs a little bit more attention, find the application link on the Orange Corners Ghana page on Growth Africa. They'll probably be promoting it there as well, and you will also find it on my Instagram at I am Zipporah Dankwa and at MoneyHub_official. And until next time, keep going the wonderful journey together, and remember that Money Hub is where we inspire, we empower, and we encourage Africa's next millionaires. So till next time, have a wonderful Saturday.